Welcome to the weekend edition of the Fast Five by Fear and Greed. I'm Michael Thompson, and hello, Sean Aylmer.
Hello, Michael.
Sean, on weekdays, it's all about the Fast Five, the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. On the weekend, we still keep it to 5 minutes, but we are going to pick out the biggest story of the week, the sleeper story, one that's kind of flying under the radar a little bit, the most remarkable story, and our favourite story. So let's jump into it. What was the biggest story for you this week?
Look, plenty around. I think putting all the economic news together was probably the biggest story. First, we had Michelle Bullock, the Deputy Reserve Bank Governor, the heir in waiting, once Phil Lowe steps down next September. She basically came out and said interest rates will rise into 2023. She said we meet 11 times a year, so if we go up 25 basis points, not 50 basis points, it doesn't matter because we've always got next month. The minutes of the Reserve Bank Board meeting came out. Finally balanced decision to go 25 basis points a couple of weeks ago. Labour force stats came out, 3.5% unemployment rate. Incredible, really. Even the markets had not a bad couple of days this week. Any one probably isn't the biggest story, but you put them all together. Biggest story of the week, the world of economics. Michael.
Yeah, I'd agree. Another big one, though, this week, Sean, is cybercrime. And I wouldn't have thought cybercrime would be the biggest story of the week again so soon after the Optus hack that affected 10 million people. But here we are talking about Medibank, Australia's largest health insurer, hit by criminals who stole a whole lot of data. They asked for a ransom. Now, this is a little bit different as well to the Optus hack because that had a lot of personal information in terms of passports and licenses. Now we've got added into the mix all this private medical information that's potentially out there too. You got Cybersecurity Minister Claire O'Neill calling it a dog act. The company reacted. They probably took a bit long to react, potentially even downplaying the severity of the breach compared to Optus, kind of recognising theirs within a day or so. What we are seeing here really is the future. Big companies getting hit. There's a lot of fear, particularly among smaller businesses as well, about what would happen if they were targeted. We've had Optus, then MyDeal, which is owned by Woolworths, now Medibank. Really, as the minister says, this kind of thing will be the norm.
Unfortunately, I think she's right.
All right. Most remarkable story. What was it for you this week? I think there's a clear winner for this.
Look, I think we're going to win on this. British politics, quite incredible. Let's start at the beginning of the week. The government did the most amazing U-turn, specifically the Prime Minister Liz Truss. It decided to drop changes to income tax, dividend tax, alcohol duties and duty-free rules. Basically, they were going to cut them. They changed their mind on that. Then later in the week, the new Chancellor, Jeremy Hunt, sort of said, we're going to increase taxes. Liz Truss, the Prime Minister at the time, was nowhere to be seen. Then on Thursday UK time, 45 days after taking the job, Ms Truss resigned after her government effectively collapsed. Now, the Conservative Party need a new leader. The former Chancellor, Rishi Sunak, is the favourite. An outsider who apparently has said he's interested is Boris Johnson, the former Prime Minister who was kicked out. The fact that Liz Truss can run a government for 45 days only, the shortest in the history of the United Kingdom, is truly remarkable. What an amazing week in British politics.
Yeah, that is extraordinary, isn't it? All right, sleeper story, one that's maybe not getting the attention that it deserves.
Go for it, Michael.
Okay, I'll go on this one. A big story out of Victoria this week with the government effectively wanting to nationalise the energy market. It wants to exhume the old State Electricity Commission and it wants to close all coal-fired power plants by 2035. This is big and it would attack two major problems for the economy: energy transition and power bills. Premier Daniel Andrews said that if he's re-elected next month, the government would take controlling stakes in new renewable energy projects to make sure that Victorians own the power stations that replace coal. The State Electricity Commission would be brought back and become a major player in the energy market under the government's 10-year plan, which would include investing all profits back into the network. Two of the big states, so that's Queensland and Victoria, have now said no coal-fired power stations by 2035. That is only a decade away. It means, really, we do not have long to get renewables working and up to a point where they can take the load. This is a major, major story.
Yeah, I agree, and didn't get the attention it deserved.
All right, favourite story of the week. I have a suggestion for this one.
Go for it.
It's everything that we learned this week about Rolls-Royce. When you think about Rolls-Royce, Sean, I don't know about you, but I kind of have this image of kind of chauffeur-driven vehicles. You've got the Phantom and the Silver Shadow and those ones kind of pulling up outside an expensive club and top hats and canes and things. You don't necessarily think electric vehicles, and you certainly don't think young drivers. All of that is changing. Rolls-Royce is launching its first electric vehicle next year. The Spectre is an absolute beast of a vehicle, weighs 3 tons, which is huge for an electric car, isn't it? Pricing in Australia is somewhere in the range of $800,000 to $900,000. There are other alternatives. If you're in that super luxe kind of EV market, you can go for a Cadillac, which is worth just under $500,000. So there's plenty of options there for you, Sean. Mentioned Rolls-Royce and younger drivers as well. How about this? Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW, which obviously owns Mini. But of those three, Rolls-Royce drivers are the youngest. Have you ever seen a Rolls-Royce with a P plate on it, Sean?
Not yet. Pretty incredible. I've got to tell you quickly about my favourite story. It's my favourite story because it is so ridiculous that it beggars belief. Greens Senator Lydia Thorpe, who was the deputy leader of the Greens, was in an undisclosed relationship with ex-biker boss Dean Martin last year as she sat on a joint parliamentary law enforcement committee looking into, believe it or not, bikie gangs. When it emerged this week, Greens leader Adam Bant forced her to resign her deputy position. She will remain in Parliament. I just don't think I've got anything more to say about it. Incredible story.
Yeah, it is extraordinary. There we go. 5 minutes and pretty much everything you need to know in the world of business. Thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you, Michael.
We'll be back on Monday morning with the top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Don't forget to check out our new podcast as well, How Do They Afford That, featuring Tanner Campbell, the founder of Sugar Mama TV, all about making your money work a little bit harder for you. I'm Michael Thompson, and this is the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed.